Hi, everyone. My name is Ellie Probus. I'm with Washington Community Alliance. And right now we're going to walk through how to sign up for the child tax credit using the non-filer tool. So the child tax credit is a benefit from the federal government. It's for families in the United States, and it's made to help with the cost of raising families and children. So with the child tax credit, you can get $3,600 for children that are under the age of 6, and you can get $3,000 for children that are between the ages of 6 and 17. Even if you don't file taxes, you are still eligible to get this money. So this is really, really great news. We want to make sure that everyone is able to sign up in time. So let's talk about how to sign up. The main way that people sign up for the child tax credit is by filing taxes. If you have filed taxes anytime in the last 2 years for the 2019 or the 2020 tax season, you should already be getting this automatically. And if you file your taxes next year in the spring, then you'll get the whole thing. Now, something that's new this year is that people who made little or no income and don't normally file taxes can still get access to this. And there's like a short, easy form for non-filers that you can use to sign up for this. And so that's what we're going to walk through today. So the form is at getctc.org. It's getctc.org. We're going to walk through it here. It's available in English or Spanish. You can click here to do it in Spanish. It works well either on your computer like this, or you can do it on a mobile phone. And there's this little chat box here. So if you have any questions that come up, then you can use that chat box to ask some questions. So here's how this works. The deadline for this form is November 15. And this form is for people who make below the amount of money that requires you to file taxes. So that amount is if you are single and you made less than $12,400 last year, or if you're married and you and your spouse made less than $24,800 last year. If you made any more than that, then you're going to need to go ahead and file taxes next spring. But if you made less than that, then you qualify to use this non-filer form. So if you fill out this form and sign up before November 15, then that signs you up to get the first half of this amount. To get the second half, you'll need to file taxes in the spring. Even if you made little or no income, you don't owe anything in taxes, that's fine. You should still file, and then you can get the rest of this benefit. But for those who made below that amount and are ready to go ahead and fill out this non-filer form now, let's go ahead and show how to do that so you can start getting the first part of that benefit. And as a plus, if you haven't filed taxes in the last couple of years, so you aren't getting this, that probably means you haven't gotten the stimulus payments either. And so when you sign up on this form, that also signs you up for the stimulus payments, which is great. So before we get started, a few things that you're going to need are, one, for yourself, you need to have a Social Security number or an ITIN. That's an individual taxpayer identification number. If you don't have a social and you don't have an ITIN yet, you can go ahead and apply to get an ITIN. You should go ahead and apply for that now so that in the spring when tax season comes around, that's gone through. And then you can file taxes with that number and you can get this benefit then. But to sign up right now, you need to have one of those things. You'll need to have the Social Security numbers for your children to sign up here. You're going to need to have a phone number that you can receive texts on and have that phone ready to go because this will send you a text. You'll need to have an email address that you can receive emails at, a mailing address, and also if you want to receive this as direct deposit, you'll want to have your bank information on hand. That's your routing number and account number. So let's go ahead and walk through it. So this says a lot of what we said before. So this is the right tool for you if you have a valid social or an ITIN. If you made less than this amount in the 2020 tax year, if you have not filed a return this year, and if you didn't receive the full amount of the stimulus you're owed. If those things are all correct for you, then great, you're in the right place. So let's continue. It's going to ask you these questions to confirm in 2020, did you earn over these amounts? We're going to say no. It's telling us we're currently filing a simplified tax return. This is a lot shorter and faster than a full tax return, which is great. So we're going to continue with that. It's going to ask if we filed a 2020 tax return. Nope. Or a 2019 tax return. Nope. And it's going to ask where was our main home for 2020. So for most of us, that's going to be in the 50 United States or the District of Columbia. And this is where you lived most of the year for 2020. If you moved around, it's where you were for more than half of the year. Can anyone claim you as a dependent? So a dependent is someone who relies on somebody else for someone else who takes care of them. So like your children are your dependents. They are people who rely on your money and your care to take care of them. So this is just checking to see if you are a dependent of anybody else. If you're like living in somebody else's house who pays for your expenses and might be claiming you on their taxes. For most of us, the answer for this is going to be no. Okay, now we're going to get started. So this is going to have us put in some basic information. I'm going to start with our legal name. Now remember, it's important that this needs to be your legal name, whatever is on your Social Security information or on your I-10 information. I go by Ellie, but my legal name on legal documents is Elizabeth. That's what matches my social, so I'm going to put that. And again, the date of birth that is accurate on your social information. Here it's going to have us put in our social. I'm just going to put in some numbers, but you'll want to put in your accurate social there. So here it's going to have us put in a phone number. And again, this needs to be a phone number that you can receive text at, because it's going to text you to confirm this. It's also going to ask if you are a member of the armed forces. If you have any questions, there are some little boxes that pop up like this that can help you to understand some of the things that are going on and why they're asking this. All right, click continue. All right, now it's going to send us a text or an email to confirm that this is actually us. So I'm going to do the text me option, and I'm going to put in this phone number, and then it's going to send you a text to confirm. This might take a couple of minutes, so if you don't get it in right away, don't worry about it. Just wait for this text to come in from Get CTC, and then go ahead. Okay, so I got my 6-digit code over text. I'm going to put that in. All right. So it's going to ask how we'll be filing our joint return. If you're single, you want to do this. If you are married or you're in a legal domestic partnership, you want to do married filing jointly. And in that case, you'll be representing both yourself and your spouse. If you're unsure how to file, there's more information here. So I'm going to go forward with this. Great, so we're here for the child tax credit. Now is when we add a child or family member. So this is someone who lived with you for most of the year in 2020 that you supported financially. If you have joint custody, split custody of a child with like your partner who lives somewhere else, the person who the child lived with for most of the year is the person who should file and who should claim that child as a dependent. So if you took care of the child for 8 months and your partner in another household took care of them for 4 months, then you're the person who should claim the child here. This does not only need to be for biological children. If you have a grandchild or other kids that aren't related to you but that live with you, like foster kids or adopted kids that you financially support and you take care of them, then you should fill this out for them. So let's walk through this. I'm going to say yes. And now we're going to put in information for our family member. So again, remember that this should be the family member's legal name, the way that it would appear on their Social Security information. Now, one thing I do want to say about this, the child tax credit does apply for babies that were born in 2021. So if you have a baby that's a few months old, then you can get that benefit for them. However, there's a problem with this website that it doesn't accept that. So I would definitely say if you file your taxes next year in the spring, then you will get this amount for any kids that were born in 2021. But right now, I'm not aware of a way that you can sign up for those kids on this website. You'll need to wait until next year. All right, so we're now going to put in the Social Security number here. The other option here is adoption taxpayer ID number if your child is adopted. But for most of us, that's going to be putting in the child's Social Security number. And it's just going to ask a couple of questions to clarify if the family member is a full-time student or if they're permanently and totally disabled. It doesn't apply here, so I'm going to continue. And then it's just going to ask for a couple of questions. For most of us, these answers are going to be no. If the child lived with you and you paid for most of their living expenses, and if they're not married, that's going to be most of us. So we're going to click none of the above and move forward. And we're going to say, yes, this child lived with me for more than 6 months. Roger's not my actual son. He's my dog, but I'm just pretending. We're going to say, yes, I'm the only person who can claim Roger. All right, it's going to ask me to confirm this information. And now here's where if I have any other kids or family members, I can do that and add them. I'm going to put, I'm done adding family members. Great, and so now here's the bonus part. Not only is this signing us up for the child tax credit, but this is also signing us up for the stimulus payments. So if you haven't filed taxes in the last couple of years, you aren't getting the child tax credit, you probably haven't gotten the stimulus payments either. So this is going to sign you up to receive those. So for most of us, it's probably going to be, I received less than this amount. I'm going to say, no, I did not receive the first payment. No, I did not receive the second payment. And it's going to say I could be eligible for this additional amount, which is great. So I'm going to say, yes, I will claim my missing stimulus. Great. So now here is where we could choose to either get these payments as direct deposit through a direct bank deposit or mailing a check, which is going to be slower. Now, if you are mailing a check, make sure that the address that you mail it to is a stable address that you can receive mail at. It's okay if that's not your own address where you live. That could be an address of a friend or a church or a homelessness center or anything like that, as long as it's a stable address that a check could be sent to. I'm going to go through the direct deposit option. So if we do that, it's going to have us put in information about our bank. So we want to have the name of our bank. It's going to ask what kind of account it is. It needs to be an account that your name is on. If you're using a bank account that your name is not on, then perhaps you might want to use the mail a check option instead. Now, if you have any questions about your bank's routing number or your account number, then you can check in with your bank about that. I'm just going to put some numbers in here and click continue. It's going to ask us to check all of this and confirm that the information is correct. Great, and then again, we're going to provide a mailing address here. Even though you do direct deposit, you're still going to need to put in a mailing address. And again, remember, it should be a place where you can receive mail, but it doesn't necessarily have to be your address. I'm going to put in information here. This is my mailing address. I'm going to click continue. Going to check on it and confirm. If I see any problems, there's an edit button there, so I can go back and change it. For most of us, we don't need to worry about this. This is just checking if anyone on your return has been issued an IP PIN because of identity theft. Most of us don't need to worry about this, so we're going to say none of the above. All right, and then we're going to do one final look through the information to confirm everything is correct. And then it's going to have a set of 5-digit PIN. Please do 5-digit PIN that you'll remember or that you can write down somewhere. The reason for this is if you realize you made a mistake and need to make changes or need to get in and access this information, then you'll have a PIN on hand so that you can log back in and do that. And then you're going to click the I'm ready to file button, and then you're all signed up. So remember, the deadline for this is November 15, so make sure that you sign up before November 15. Also remember that this non-filer form will sign you up for the first half of the child tax credit benefit. For the second half, you're going to need to file your taxes in the spring, and so that starts in February of 2022, and then you can get the full amount. So thank you everyone very much. I hope you have a smooth sign-up process, and take care.